Hmm.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Welcome, Stream Queens, Reclaiming My Time. My name is London Bradshaw, and honestly, it is my first day out of drag, let's be real. I think I've been doing drag since 1984. But today we are here with some amazing people. We are doing a panel called Black Enough. Now, being black is one thing, but not feeling like you have a place or you are black enough to belong into an environment or any kind of situation is a thing that happens among the Black community. So that's what we're here to talk about. I do ask that we put a exclamation point TW in chat just in case we do talk about sensitive things because there are different walks of life and different experiences here for this panel. So speaking of walks of life, we have some amazing panelists here. We are going to ask them what their name is, where they come from, and their pronouns. So yeah, we will get started. And if you do like what you see here for this panel, you can do exclamation point reparations and get these people paid. Listen, we are not doing this for free. We are not giving you our experiences. We're not teaching you for free. We may choose to, but you know, if you throw a couple bucks our way, it does not hurt to do so. So exclamation point reparations in chat, but we will get started. I'm going to start from on the Stream Queens stream. I love him. He knows I love him. I asked him to be here. He is my twin brother. Give it up for Senior Dro. Hello.
Hi. All right, it's introduction. So my name is Senior Dro, or my real name is Alessandro. I am a gay man. He, they pronouns. My dad's black. My dad's white. My mom's black. That's all I got.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then we have all the way from down south. I'm glad they woke up today because we played Dead by Daylight until like 5 in the morning. What up, Empire? How are you? Hello.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going? So my name is Eddie. I go by Empire TV. I live in the state of Alabama. My pronouns are he, him.
Him. Yes. Awesome. And hello, beautiful. How are you? It is called the Flower. Flower, I love you. I love you. Thank you for being here.
No, I love you. I'm called the Flower. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a variety streamer here on Twitch, and I'm from Ohio.
Ooh, love that. Hopefully you're not for long. You know, pack your bags and come visit me. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then we do have the honor and the pleasure of having an amazing streamer here on Twitch. They just got partnered not even like what 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was like February 5th.
February 5th. I was like, this is how we're starting Black History Month, and I am here for it. So let's keep this like momentum going. It's Blizzbear. How are you, love?
I'm doing good. Hi, I'm Blizzbear, variety streamer, pronouns he, him, from Maryland, DMV represent, and yeah, I'm black.
Yeah, and I hope that we're all unapologetically black. And again, if you don't know me, my name is London Bradshaw. I am a drag variety streamer here on Twitch. Sometimes we have to take a break from the makeup so we can let our skin breathe. I am an Afro-Latino human. My pronouns are he, they when I'm out of drag and she, they when I'm in drag. So I am half black and half Dominican. With a little bit of Haitian in me, which we will talk about later because being Dominican and Haitian is not something that is, I guess, good. I just learned that, you know, in 2020. So, what are our experiences being black and growing up? Well, we will talk of like I think almost all the panels here this week will relate to our experiences being black. So what are some experiences being black and growing up black? Like, did we have was it easy, was it hard, how do we feel? And especially because some of us are mixed races, what was that experience as well, if we want to talk about that? I'll start with Senior Joe, or whoever wants to go first, but maybe we'll
I can go first. My experiences were different growing up, I guess. It wasn't really something very apparent until I moved to the States that I noticed a lot more of the discrimination, because I did live the beginning of my life in Brazil. So it's mostly when I came to the States. There's a bunch of things that happened throughout my life that really like showed how differently you're treated depending on which color you are, and then also in school, not be able to fit in with either the white friends or my black friends because I was never looked as one or the other. So it's something really that I mostly noticed when I was lived in the States. I was living in Florida.
Well, you were living in Florida.
Yeah,
No offense to anybody living in Florida, but you were living there.
it's true.
I can say Eddie, right? Can I
Yeah.
say Eddie? Okay,
Eddie's
Eddie. Eddie, aka Empire. How was your life? Your experiences? Good, bad? Anything you want to let the chat know?
Well, I can honestly say, as previously stated, talking about school, that's kind of where it all started. I grew up, started in a predominantly black school, elementary school. And then when I moved over to the other side of my city, which the schools were predominantly white. And that's when I started noticing, I was kind of outcasted in sort of a way where I found myself I try to hang out with everyone and try to be friends with everyone. And there were times where some people would be like, okay, you're cool, come hang out with us, or just kind of like, nah, you have that thing where you kind of want to be friends with everybody. But my situation was I didn't always get that opportunity because it just felt like I either didn't group in with these specific group of people or I did. It was kind of up in the air with that. So it took a while, but after school, I kind of got into my field of understanding, why that happened.
Yeah. Flower. You are a femme black representation of the black community, which I thank you because black women have done the most for anybody. I feel like they've just gone through a lot. So I mean, yes, black people, black men and women have gone through a lot, but like black women have, there's some things there that we should talk about.
Right. So growing up, I live in a really small town in Ohio, like really small. It was interesting. Like for the most part, I like grew up playing sports and stuff, and I played softball and volleyball, and I kind of found like cliques like within that, but it was normally the clubs that I played for, they were kind of on the expensive side. So like I noticed that like a lot of them were white people playing that I would play with. And so it was kind of mixed, and like sometimes like I would be accepted and then sometimes I wouldn't. Sorry. So it was different. It was very different growing up. I got the best of both worlds, I guess.
So you're saying you're the black Hannah Montana. I see.
You never seen Flower and Nate.
Hey, this is true. This is true. Bliss, have you always lived where you lived your whole life? What was your experience like growing up?
In terms of schooling, I've been here for a majority of my life. I went to I want to say predominantly white elementary school and middle school, and then a predominantly black high school, then predominantly white college, but that's another experience that we'll go into in a second. But I think elementary school was the first time I realized I was black and realized my skin color, especially when you have like a crush on someone and they come up to you and they're like, oh, I don't like you because you're too dark or something like that. And
Period.
it hits you, you start realizing things, start realizing your own skin. But
not the things you want to hear. And definitely one of the biggest topics I want to talk about in this panel, being black enough, is dating. So if we decide not to want to talk about that, feel free not to. But that is a subject that is very talked about amongst the black community in some ways. But if anybody also does have a question in chat, make sure you redeem your points and hashtag or the channel point redemption for questions. Our panelists can choose not to answer the question if they don't feel comfortable. So we want to respect everybody's space as well. But we do want to hear from the community and we do want to hear from the chat if anybody has any questions. And again, if we are teaching you and taking the time for you to learn, exclamation point reparations in chat if you feel the need that you want to pay us for our time. So what was dang it, I had this question on top of my head. I'm so sorry. I got on a tangent. So for me, so that's what I was gonna say. For me, growing up is a little different. I was adopted. So that in itself is a touchy subject because being adopted, you're like, People are going to look at me weird. They're going to ask a lot of questions that are traumatizing to me that I don't want to talk about. Plus, being Black, plus being queer does not help on the fact anyway. So, growing up, I had 2 white lesbian parents. I love my parents. Yes, they have done a lot for me. They have helped me find my identity of being Black. My mom always was like, "Don't wear hoods. Don't do this. You'll get in trouble." And I like didn't understand. And then when the Trayvon Martin murder, I will say it's a murder because it is a murder, happened, I understood finally. And when I went to school, I went to a predominantly Hispanic Latinx school. And I didn't know any other Black people. And I think the white people were minorities in the school, which was great now that I realize that. But there was still like, when we finally like put together like a Black African American studies in the school, there was like 96 Black people. And I was like, where did you all come from? Hello? Like, where were you this whole 4 years that I've like been here? But growing up with white parents has always been something where it's like my white family has been like, oh, you suntan like this, ah ha ha ha. And like my family is like redneck. So one side of my family is very like, oh, we're gonna go shopping, we're gonna do this, and the other side of my family is like, yeah, let's go out and like ride quads and go shoot like not squirrels, but like let's go camping and let's go RVing and stuff like that. And like that's the stuff that I like grew up doing. So when I got to where that I could be Black in college, which yes, Blizbear, we'll talk about that. It was a different story because then I wasn't sure if I was going to be like this group of friends or this group of friends. So, and that brings it to Twitch too, is like, how has the community been for you on Twitch? We are all streamers. We've grown up. We understand that we're Black. We are living our best lives. But how is the and if it's a sensitive subject, you don't have to answer it. We're not here to call out names or anything, but how has the Twitch community treated you being Black as a streamer? Is it good? Is it bad? How like have you been able to connect to other Black members of the community? I know for Flower, I want to start with you because last night you and I talked on the phone. And the one thing that like struck me hard, and if you don't mind me like talking about this, is what you said to me is you said, I'm enjoying this con because I actually have the opportunity to reach out to other Black streamers because I don't know any other Black streamers, or I'm trying to find that. So did you want to talk about your experiences on Twitch as being a streamer and as a Black community member?
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, like you said, I got the opportunity to meet a lot of POC content creators, and I'm very appreciative of that. I feel like, as far as like my community, they are very supporting. They obviously know that I'm Black and that I speak on a lot of things within the Black community or like within gaming, for example, DVD, but that's a whole nother subject. But I'm very they are very understanding and very supportive, and they have their input as well. So I appreciate them with all my heart. But yes, like I am so happy that I met you, and you have allowed me to meet all these amazing other people. So I'm really appreciative of that as well. I feel like there's still so many, like we're here. We're definitely here. It's just a matter of finding them or finding each other. So Twitter, TikTok, I've even I found a lot of streamers or content creators that way too. So it's just branching out and honestly looking for them.
Yeah. Does anybody else want to go next? We don't have to really like go in order. Blizbear?
So it kind of seemed like I had to join Twitch to find the community that I was looking for, which made me so happy. Because
Yeah.
coming into Twitch, I wanted to create a space that was queer and just full of Black individuals or people of color in general. And it just kind of feels so good that I'm in a place where I'm finding other content creators who look like me, identify as me, and it's comforting hearing some of the like struggles or situations that they're going through that I'm also going through, because it makes me feel like less alone. in it. I mean, we've all dealt with trolls. Also, huge apologies for the green flash. I am trying to fix this. I'm in the process of doing it right now.
No worries, no
Um,
worries.
but I deal with trolls like crazy, to the point where I
Yeah.
have a troll song. I made a rap to
Ooh.
a troll song because
Are you
I'm
able
just
to
like,
play it for us?
no.
Well,
No, 'cause I'm not a rapper. But not a rapper at all. But hearing some of the things, like some of the comments that other people would get, I'd be like, oh wait, me too. And there's a sense of commonality there. It's like, okay, how are you dealing with this? How am I dealing with this? Like, let's talk about it. It's comfortability.
Mhm.
So yeah.
yeah. I definitely feel on that, and we can, if you don't mind, Eddie, we can go to Dro next, because I work from home, and I'm like I'm in Dro's chat mainly because Dro streams during the daytime. Also, side note, if you do want to hear the troll song, please follow twitch.tv /BlizzBear, because I will be in his chat finding out what this rap looks like. So that's what I wanted to say as well.
It's
But
good. It's
So
good.
bad.
No,
so
it's
bad.
good.
I definitely I do want to hear from Dro about trolls, and you are just like me. And yes, Dro, I call my twin because we are ride or die. But we are both like Latin descent, I would say, and half black. So, how do you deal with trolls, and how do you deal with the Twitch community? And has it been good for you or bad for you?
First, I want to also thank you, London. You have been like the gateway for me to meet these amazing like POC content creators on Twitch. I don't know if it was for you how I would like meet so many amazing people, so thank you. But yeah, for my community itself and for communities that I've met, for the most part, outstanding, amazing people. I get amazing people that I meet on this platform. I do get, as we said, a lot of trolls, and sometimes when they say stuff, it does really trigger something in me that like you think you got over, but you don't really ever do. I think one time specifically, I was just streaming during the day, and someone came in and said, "It must be terrible to be an N word and an F word at the same time." And when someone said that to me, like trying to shake it off or like just be trolling back, whatever, but like I was like burning up on the inside just hearing this kind of comments, and like this is stuff that I'm sure all of us experience almost every day of our lives at some point, you know what I mean? And dealing with that, my community really helps. Like my community that was there in that moment, call this person out, uplifted me, texted me, messaged me afterwards. And yeah, it's like stuff that I deal with sometimes.
Yeah. I know that like this is like, I don't know, this is my gaming computer, and this is my gaming computer, and this is my work computer. So like I'll be working, and then I'll literally look over, and Dro is just like roasting trolls in chat. And it's probably the most like liberating thing. And like I referenced to the one time where this troll was like, "Oh, you're a shit killer," blah 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 blah,
Oh, yeah.
and like literally like made like 6 accounts to go follow you just to roast you.
Oh,
and you were
that
just
time,
like,
yeah.
you're like, "Thanks for the ad revenue, whatever." Yeah.
Sometimes my streams is a lot of comedy stuff. So when these things happen, I just try to turn it into like a funny moment just to make them feel awkward and to make them leave or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like one time someone came in and trolled me, and then someone in my community gifted this person a sub, and he's like, "Well, welcome to the rap, bitches." Like, you know what I mean? So
for sure.
I'm very grateful for my community. I do love them very much. They do help me out a lot.
Y'all should join the raft. You also join BlizzBear's community, because I still want to hear this rap by the end of this panel.
It's good, bitch. It's good.
Eddie, where are you at? Like, how do you feel about the community and being black and the black member of the Twitch community?
Oh my goodness, man. It has been absolutely just amazing. Like I started off, most of you know, I started off streaming as part of a joke. You know, it wasn't supposed to be me streaming. And when I finally got that opportunity, and I got to meet so many amazing people in my community, I just love them. I love this community. So I'm thankful for you very, very much. But getting to meet so many amazing people, I get to watch how they handle situations like the trolls. Because my thing was I had to learn how to kind of brush off the trolls a little bit, because I used to do music on my stream when I first started off the first year, and people would come in and drop those those words in and troll a lot, and I would get really triggered, like just really upset, and I would end my stream. And I said, you know what, I got to get past this. So I would watch other POC content creators, and I would watch them, and then I would see how they handled situations, and that gave me what I needed to be able to say. Okay, say what you want to say. This is what I'm going to do. And my community has been so amazing to literally eat them up until they leave.
Mhm.
So it's been really well. It's been a fantastic year and a half. So thank you.
Yeah. Um, me being a queer drag artist on Twitch and in real life, like I get called not only like names up the yin yang, I could just like literally just be doing me, and it's just like, and you're just like, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the ad revenue that you waited to. I just witnessed for the first time a mutant troll. I call it a mutant troll because they have formed into new ways finally than living under the rocks that they come from. But it was a troll who called me a monkey, and I was like, they're like, make monkey dance. And I was like, oh, I was just like, you could say the N-word all you want, but like monkey is such an offensive term for me. But I was just like playing Dead by Daylight. All my mods had went to bed, and it's like when the mods go to sleep, because most of us here, except Dro, stream late at night. Or for me, because I'm like behind all of you, it's late or earlier, but for me it's late. Anyways, I had a troll who waited for the mods to go to bed and literally was like, make monkey dance and like gifted biddies, and I was like, oh hell no, what is this? And then someone was like, delete the trolls, and then I deleted that troll, and the person who was like supporting the mods deleting the trolls was also a troll that waited for their territory to be open because I deleted another one. Does that kind of make sense? It was like they were an undercover. I was so confused, but I was like, that I'm not mad, but that was clever. Don't call me the N-word, but that was good. That was a brilliant way to go about that. And then someone told my friend Kay to shush, and I don't think I've ever laughed. So we've made spaces. We have made spaces here on Twitch for us, and I think the Black community has been more welcoming than the non-Black community. And I realize we're not here to like roast and drag white people, but like the ways that we've gone, it's hard not to, because some of those members of that white community aren't representing their community very well. Do you ever feel like on Twitch or growing up, and I don't know how everybody's going to react to this question, but how do you feel, have you ever felt like the pick me Black person? Like, pick me isn't a term like, oh, I forgot to add a Black person to something. For as a drag artist, they're like, oh, we didn't meet our quota today, so let's add London. She's Black. So yes, a pick me Black person is someone who needs you for the company or a place to like be a filler to show that the performative activism that they're using is diversity. Quotation. Lisbeth, I saw you point your finger up because I know you have some things to say.
Okay, I'm not gonna drag my college, but if anyone is from my college, just know that I could drag, and I will eventually. But they used me a lot for photo shoots, to advertise for college to show like we do have diversity. They sent my picture out on a pamphlet, the first page of the pamphlet, to like multiple people one year to try to get more, I guess, Black students or people of color to come to their institution because it's majority white. Like what is it? PWI, predominantly white institute. And then there were like multiple times where I was asked to be in a photo shoot. It just got to the point where I was like, no, because I see what you're doing. Like you want to get Black students to come into your institute, but you won't support these Black students. So I'm not going to be a part of that like message anymore. But at first I was like so happy, like, ooh, I got to be on a photo. I got to be a part of this. But you're also kind of forcing me into exposure and won't protect me for the exposure that you gave me. So it was an interesting, like, I don't know, predicament I was in. But yeah, I think that was one time. No, that was one of the times where I like felt like I had to be there for forced diversity.
Yeah. I definitely I don't know if this is like a good thing to be proud of or a bad thing. Is I didn't graduate in the bestest of terms from high school. So when I got into UW, I got in with like one of the lowest GPAs, and I wasn't sure why. And I thought it was just, and like Well, the way the thing went off, the way the conversation went off was, oh, they'll let you in because you're a minority, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna get into college. My mom's gonna be so proud. And then I like look back and I'm like, did you let me in because my low GPA, or did you let me in because I had a low GPA and I was a minority? Like, are you doing it because there's a quota that you have to meet? So I definitely agree with I definitely relate on the college aspect, because I've been in photo shoots for like student life and things like that, and it's literally like wait, London, and I'm like, something is not right here, but I'm gonna go with it. So but there's definitely a lot of things you look back on, and we will talk about education and how you all have been treated in schools. That's a question that I'm just curious about as well. Does anybody want to go next as the pick me Black person? Have we ever experienced that? And how did we so actually, before we go, but Blizzer, how did you handle that? Like, what were the steps that you took? Like, did you just sit back and let it happen? Or did you like stand up, or did you
It was one of
fight the
those.
college back?
It's one of those moments where you don't realize anti-blackness until you graduate at institute and you're outside of that bubble, where you start looking back and you're like, wait. So there was like this whole uproar on Twitter from a lot of Black students saying this was my experience with this college. Honestly, fuck it. St. Mary's College in Maryland, get fucked. I don't care. Anyway, y'all anti-Black. It is what it is. You got called out. And so a lot of Black students started talking about their experience, saying like, I was on the soccer team and like a lot of people on the soccer team called me like the N-word a lot, or we talked about the photo shoots thing. They had this like little board. It was called the diversity board, where they could pull diverse students for photo shoots or pictures dealing with like the sports team and all that stuff. There are certain things you just didn't notice until you left. And it hurts that I kind of sat here and I was like, was I contributing to this? Was I okay with contributing to the anti-Blackness of this institute? Like, what is going on? And it's wild to me now. I don't care. I don't care about the institute. But
someone said in chat, they said that is SMCM for those who missed it. LOL.
yeah,
So
yeah, hey professor.
Yeah. So we don't support colleges who do that, and that happens a lot. A lady was actually talking about it a lot yesterday and the day before when they were a part of this convention. So you're not the only one who has talked about your college experience and how they've treated you. So thank you again for speaking on that, and it is important. We'll talk about education as well, so we're going to come back to you. So we hear your other experiences if you want to. Does someone want to go next? Flower, I saw you sitting up.
Yeah, so mine is more towards like my friends growing up. It was kind of like that, like when it was like a birthday party or a Christmas party. I was always that Black person that was invited and there was nobody else there. And it was always like last minute. It was always like, oh crap, like, hey, you want to come to our birthday party? I'm like, what? Like, I thought we were, like, why was I not already invited? Like, I thought we were cooler than that. So I kind of experienced it from my own friends, and then I noticed like now at the age that I am, like just kind of like fading away and like knowing who they are as a person, I'm like, this all makes sense now. So yeah, I was always I have Black friends. I was always that person to them. So I mean, how I deal with it now, we're not friends anymore. I don't associate myself with them. So
Period. And I definitely relate to that because it's there's a lot of relation to that. Dro.
Yeah, I'll give you like a work experience. I guess I used to work at this restaurant, and it was like just basically all white people. I was like the only colored person there. And something similar to happen with Blizz Bear is that whenever there's like a promotional shoot or something, I'll be put like front and center, or when someone's coming by, you put on the front. And then it's funny because in the moment, I'm thinking that, oh, these people are like elevating me. They like me. They think I'm doing good. And like, you want that attention. You want that want from them. And then it wasn't until like, I was so blind to it. It wasn't until someone I worked with said, you know, they're only doing this because you're colored here, right? I'm like, what? It's like, they're trying to make it seem like they're very inclusive here when they're not. And how did I leave and called them a bunch of racists and I quit. Straight up left.
Yeah. I mean, I would too. If you didn't hear that I got called to help at my workplace probably like 3 months ago. My mom just found out over this convention and hasn't been texting me since about it, but we will talk about that later. Eddie.
Yeah,
you work at a
mine's
corporate
little
company. Yeah, you work at a corporate company, or I want to hear your experience as well. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh no, you're fine. So mine is actually similar to Flowers, like you know, with your friends in school. My 6th grade year was the worst year for me because that's when I started to see, okay, it's not because I want to be your friend, it's because I want, you know, people to see that I have a Black friend or that I have someone who's Black who hangs around me. And that's where I actually learned where the phrase token Black guy came from. I knew nothing about that because I had never been in a predominantly white school until that year. So I never forget the guy. We used to ride the bus together and everything. And he called me that one time and I came home and I'm like, what in the world? I never told my mom about it. Well, she knows now. Hi, Mom. But yeah, so I never knew at that moment because you're young, you know, you don't understand it. The first time that it happens to you, it doesn't register to you that you're being singled out, you know. And at that point, I just wanted a friend, you know, I just wanted friends. I was new to the school and everything, but looking at it now at the age that I am, I see it and I'm like, I wish I would have known. I wish I would have known so that I could have nipped that, you know, right then and there and been done and over with it.
Yeah. I definitely relate to a lot of the friendship situations. My best friend growing up, my parents hated. He was like misogynistic and a jerk, and I didn't realize that growing up because I wanted friends. My parents didn't let me drive until I was like a certain age, so like he would pick me up and we'd go out. And my parents are pretty chillax. They're lesbians. They're gay. I'm gay, so like they're gonna be like, just don't come home pregnant. And I'm like, Mom, stop, please. I'm not a bottom. At the time. Anyways, but then I was like, when I was growing up, I like now he's like a full out like he's a non-mask wearing, Trump supporting like person. I was like, I don't need that. And like, why didn't I just like listen to your friends or the other people that are telling you like these people aren't good for you, this isn't good for you. And now being like up and where I'm at, living in Seattle, like when we had protests, like we had the protests, like cop cars on fire, stores getting broken into, things like that. I mean, like I'm sure that was all over, but like I was front and center. There were shootings, and my mom was like, "You need to go home," and I was like, "No, I'm gonna fight for my rights." And she was like, "Okay," and I was like, "So there's that." But like, there's definitely those friendships that you realize like we don't need that, and that's not important. And then there's the things at the school, like because I was on student life. So that being said, we're talking about education, and this is a Black enough panel. Did you feel like you were treated differently in the education schooling system growing up at all in any form, and whatnot?
Yeah, to say that is wow. Again, that same year I was just speaking about, that was the worst year I'd ever had because again, first year at a predominantly white school, but that was also the year that I was basically expelled from a school. Well, I had to move to another school. I was the one of the two black kids on the bus. There was another Black girl who sat in the back. She minded her business. She wasn't cool with anyone. That was just her thing. But I sat at the front because there were a lot of high school people, because you could have middle and high school on the same bus. They would drop off the high school students first and then the middle school students. Well, that was the year it all, like just the education system, I was jumped by 3 high school seniors on my 11th birthday. I was spat on. I came home. My parents were very upset. They called the school board. These 3 high school seniors basically got away with it. I, on the other hand, got expelled from the school because I was a male out of school district. And I actually had to be moved to another school. They let me finish out the rest of the year. It was only like a month or so left. They let me finish out the year there, and then I had to go back. That was not fair. It will never be fair. I have told so many people about that, and that was years ago, but I definitely wasn't treated right in that situation. I hope nobody ever has to go through that, but that's how it happens. That's what happens in these schools. And yes, the education system, especially down here in the state of Alabama, it's just all, it's all messed up. It's bullshit, basically.
Yeah.
I'm
Are
so
there and so like again, this is a black enough panel. Like how do in Alabama, like how are the white people treated compared to the black people in Alabama? Because correct me if I'm wrong, the Alabama is a predominantly black state. I could be incorrect. I'm not educated or knowledgeable on this subject.
No, you're fine. So it's actually based off of what part of Alabama you live in, like places like Birmingham and Montgomery and things. You'll definitely find more black communities up there. Now, I live in the South. I live in the city of Mobile, and in Mobile, you have one section here, and you have a section here, and then you have everybody else in the middle. Where I live in the downtown area, so it's generally just a mix of everyone. There's black families who live on this street, then on the next street, and maybe white families here. It's just a combination. It just all really depends on where you live in the city. So
yeah. What has everybody else experienced in education, the schooling system? I know, Blizberry, you want to talk about that, but I don't know if you want to go now or you want to save it till later.
I can go now because I'm personally trying to think of like what my high school experience was.
Yeah. If you
and-
want to come back, you can think about it.
I have going from middle school to high school, you have two options of either going to a science technical institute or a just a normal public high school. But the issue is, and why people never want to go there, is it's majority black. And once I got denied from STI, I ended up going to the other high school, but a lot of people were saying, "Oh, you're going to get jumped," because just what the environment is there, and that is honestly the worst thing to say to me. But I ended up going to an all-black high school, which was really comforting, seeing like people like me more. And high school, you kind of develop yourself a little bit in high school, and develop like just who you are as a person, start understanding who you are as a person. That was like the first situation, or not situation, the first instance I realized I was queer. And then going into college, going directly to a PWI, it felt a little strange to me, and I felt like I had to belong, or I had to remove part of myself in order to find belonging amongst a group of individuals who were majority white. I had to take part in certain traditions, take part in certain things that this like institute did in order for me to feel like I belonged. In education, I changed my major like 5 times, but I was in like the biochemistry route for the longest time, and kind of chosen for like I wouldn't say chemistry photo shoots or being a part of certain groups dealing with science because of my skin color, being accepted into a group for it was like called emerging scholars, but majority of the people in there were people of color, like not a lot of white individuals whatsoever. So it just kind of seemed like this was a scholar group for black individuals, focusing not black individuals, people of color, focusing on people of color. So kind of feeling it kind of felt like I was being like taken away. I don't know, grouped with certain individuals.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a strange situation now looking back at it. This is also a realization I just had in this moment, so that's why I'm trying to process it at the same time.
And that's okay. Yeah.
It was definitely interesting. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
I will tell you, I don't know, like, I always like I'm not trying to like be weird about it, but like every time I'm like so intently looking at somebody on a story, they like realize something, and it always happens. Like, I think I've talked to Joe and Flower about it. Like, you literally will have a conversation with it, and someone will realize something while you're having a conversation with them. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, yes, yeah. And you're like, wow, I'm just realizing this. I'm like, yeah, tell us more. Like, I really am like, it's like so intriguing to like the way people feel, and like it's okay if you realized it, because I mean, that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about stories and experiences, and like maybe something that you relate to is something that someone in the chat relates to who necessarily hasn't yet spoken up or like have realized it. So I'm glad that you have shared your story, and I'm really excited
Like,
that you shared your story. So
you started a conversation that sparked like something being brought up, and it's good because I don't talk about it a lot, and I'm not in an environment a lot of the time talking about like my education and how that tied to my Blackness, and I'm like,
yeah,
oh, okay, cool.
yeah.
Thanks for that.
I'm glad that you're here. I'm really excited that you all are here. I love having these conversations. I do have exciting news. Carrying like his education later, but I'm gonna have to talk to my mother, who is in chat, about it later privately, because if I do it over the internet, she will be upset. So Dro, Flower, anybody, what are your experiences?
Yeah, just like in high school and middle school and stuff in the States, especially. I went to like a predominantly like white people school as well. Like most of the people were like, maybe there was like 4 to 5 Black kids that were in the school as well. For me, it was just like most of the like this stuff I would deal with is like very like micro racism, I guess you call it, being called aggressive, jokes about being the token Black guy or just poor or something like that. And it was to the point that like I was ashamed of myself. Like if my mom were to pick me up from my school, I'd ask her to go like a few houses down from the school, then I'll walk to the car to get in the car with her. As opposed to my dad's picking me up, he could just pick me up from the school, because the reputation shows that like my dad is white, my mom is Black. So it's like sad to think that like I allowed people to make myself feel that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My mom was a foster parent, so she did a lot of foster care. So having a foster household, we would drive this big van. It wasn't like a car, it was like a big van that like people do like sewer plumbing stuff with. So I would like be like, ugh, my mom's picking me up from school. Like, I'm grateful that I don't have to take the bus, because we lived in like, I don't know if you've ever heard of Yakima, Washington. But if you've heard of Yakima, it is not the city that you want to live in. Like gangs, drug capital of Washington, things like that. I know you all have heard it in iCarly, but it is not what they say in iCarly. That is a Nickelodeon show.
I was
my
gonna say,
God.
wait, Yakima.
Yeah. She's like,
Not Carly.
yeah, she's like, Yakima. I don't want to move to Yakima. And I was like, bitch, you don't want to, I don't want to move to Yakima. And I live here. Like, get me out. But I was like, I get it. Like, I was embarrassed. Like, and like, it's not their choice. Like, they're just, they have taken the time. And like, that's what you have to realize. They took their time to pick my ass up from school. I didn't live anywhere near my school. I lived 30 minutes from school. But I went to an out of district school. And then gratefully my mother started working at the school, so I could continue going to the school that I chose to, because I originally went to a white school. I went to a white school, and then we'll talk about it after I hear from Flower, but it's an experience, and probably my mom doesn't know it, but she's about to find out now, and we are gonna have a 2-hour phone call after this. Go ahead, Flower.
So first off, my mom's in chat. Hi, Mom. She is a teacher. My brother is a teacher, and his wife is also a teacher. So, and they are all African American, and we stand. But with that being said, so my experience growing up in school. So elementary, perfect. It was cool. I met some really close friends there. I didn't really have any problems. Going into middle school, I went to one middle school, and then all the middle schools, because there was like 3 or 4, all of them were going to combine together. And I was kind of told the same thing as Liz Bear was talking about, that, oh, you're going to get beat up and it's going to be ghetto and all this and that. And I was like, okay, anyway, but so my mom pulled me and I went to a Catholic school I only lasted a month, because the people there were not nice to me. They were extremely rude. My teachers were rude. I was sat the bench for volleyball because I wasn't I didn't have the funds, or I just wasn't known enough to be there, because I had the talent, because as soon as I transferred back, we beat that team and I played the whole time. So, besides that, high school, one of my teachers, it was weird. So I kind of grew up in my brother's shadow, if you will, because he was a football star, a basketball star. So I was known because of him. So like the teachers are always like, "Oh, how's your brother? How's he doing? How's this? How's that?" And it was always about him. And I was just like, okay, like I'm just the shadow, but whatever. So one of my teachers, it was me and my best friend, and she was Black as well. We wore uniforms, and we had to wear belts, and we never wore belts because we had sweaters that were long enough so you didn't see our belt loops. So why does it matter? And our pants fit. So she would literally only pick on me and her, and she would literally make us lift our sweaters up to show her that we had our belts on, and we never did. And like all the other students, she never did that too. So her mom politely had a parent teacher conference with her, and it wasn't nice, and she left us alone. But going forward, college, so I went to school for respiratory therapy. I opted out just because of COVID, and I don't know if I really want to do that anymore. But my teacher said to me, which I was really weary of her at first. Like she would say like stuff all the time. She straight up said the lights were off during class, and she said, "My name's Janaea." She said, "Is Janaea here? I can't see her." And everyone in the class laughed. Not a single person said anything. And she was like the dean chairperson of my department. And that was my experience with schooling. I don't think my mom knows about that. Hi, Mom, you know now.
I'm trying to
But-
fight. Hold on.
Yeah.
I was about to be
I
like,
was
well,
trying to see
everybody,
something.
before all the Black people on this channel fight, we're gonna end that panel right here today. Thank you for like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, there's no way.
Wow.
And they
It's
got
fucked
away
up.
with
That
it.
is so fucked up.
I'm so
Mhm.
sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And I like just sat there like I was just like, my jaw was on the floor, and I was like, she didn't really say that. Like I'm hearing things. Like she didn't say that. And I was like, I've been here the whole time. Like I don't understand. Like you never saw me get up. Like why are you trying to be funny? Like yeah. So
yeah, that was intentional.
mhm.
That was intentional. You could have asked, okay, call your name if they're looking for you, but just to add all that extra, that was intentional.
Yeah. Seriously.
Mm.
I should have left. I should have walked right out then. Like now I'm not here.
Again, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that shit.
Yeah,
that
holy
is
shit.
right there.
I-
My mom is probably one of my biggest supporters, and I don't take advantage of that because not everybody is fortunate enough to have parents who support them, especially as Black, queer, members of the community. And I remember one time in school, I've never seen my mom want to throw hands so hard. I was in school. I was a drama kid, a cheerleader, a dancer growing up. I literally have danced my whole life and everything. And so I went to the drama club every morning because that's where my friends were. I didn't have a whole lot of friends in. My mom literally just said, "I'm up for a fight. Where's she at?" To you, call the flower. She's gonna fight that teacher for you. And your mom says we need to talk. Mothers, we'll bring our moms onto the Mother's Day panel that we have not coming up yet because it's not closely planned, or even thought of until this moment. But I had an incident in school, where a teacher just didn't like me. I don't know if they were racist or they just didn't like me, and me and this other friend I have named Justin, we were both gay. We just kind of didn't know it at the time. I mean, I fully knew I was a flaming homo. But he was still going through it, and he and I would go to the drama room, go get breakfast, and then go sit there and talk before class. And we were in there and we were just like laughing and having a good time because we shared the room with the choir kids. And we didn't know that we could share the room with the choir. We didn't know that they were like doing something that day, and we were like in there laughing, and they didn't even ask us to be quiet. And so then I like didn't even notice because we were having such a good time. And we like kind of they kind of like were shushed out of the room. And then like the teacher had like closed the door, and like I didn't think anything of it. And he like walked up to us and he was like, if you ever fucking laugh and be loud in this class again, I will do the worst things possible. And I was like, what are you talking about? And like my mom has taught me to like stand up for myself. So I was like, so if you all see my attitude at all for the rest of your lives, that is because of my mother. So you can blame her. But I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, I had to cancel my practice. And I was like, well, maybe you could be an adult and communicate and let us know that there's a practice going on and we would be more respectful of your time. He's like, don't you fucking talk to me like that. And I was like, and don't you ever fucking cuss at me like that. Like, give me a fucking break. And I packed my backpack up and left. And so then when my mom, I went home that day. My mom was like, hey, how was school? Like, how'd it go? Like, how was practice? Like, how was school? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, it's cool. Like, this teacher, like, closed the door and yelled at me. And my mom, the only thing she said was, the teacher closed the door. And I was like, yeah, they like closed the door and they like scolded me because we were laughing and having a good time. And usually my mom would be like, well, what did you do wrong? But this time she's like, oh, okay, cool. And so then I was like getting ready for bed that night. She's like, hey, I'm going to drive you to school tomorrow. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, thank you. And she's like, yeah, no problem. Like, didn't even fucking say anything. And so then like we drove to school and you like, I don't know, you all have parents who, you know, when they do something, they're like, fuck. It's over. My mom turned off the car and I was like, hey, so like, what are you doing? She goes, I'm going to go talk to that teacher. And I was like, oh, so this is why you drove me to school. Okay. We see you. We fucking see you. Oh no. And so she walked in there and she was like, hi, my name is Erin out of drag. So if you don't know, my name's Erin out of drag. I was like, are you Erin's teacher? He's like, yeah, but your dad has, your dad's been in, your son's been in my class. And so she just, it was over. So she turned around and closed the door. She's like, she's like, hey, Justin, can you take your friends out of the classroom, please? And then he's like, oh, you can't do this. Like, if you don't, do you have like a badge? And she's like, no, I don't need a badge. But can you take everybody out of the classroom? And Justin was like, oh no, oh yeah. And I looked at Justin, I was like, it's gonna go down. Like Cardi B, like, it's about to go down. And my mom was like, so what gives you the right to close the door and cuss at my son, who is a person who's under the age of 18 in this school? Like, what makes you think that that's okay? She goes, the next time that you want to do that ever again, make sure that you don't ever happen. Like, that doesn't ever happen. Like, cuss words are not allowed. You're not allowed to close the door with students behind them unless it's for educational purposes, which it was not. So please don't ever fucking do that again. He's like, well, where do you have the right? And then she's like, where do you have the right to yell at my child who was literally just living his everyday life? Because you didn't yell at anybody else. You yelled at him. So is it because he's black? Or is it because you're racist? Or like what? You don't like him? What is the reason? Because you like everybody else except him. And I was like, Mom, we don't have to. She's like, get out. Go to class. And I was like, oh, okay. Woo! So I wish that people would realize that the way that some people are, the point of the story is like, I wish, the point of the story to my next question is like, I wish people would realize when someone has something that might involve racism or a microaggression.
Yeah.
So how do we handle microaggressions as people who are trying to survive in the community? There might be people in chat who don't. There might be people in chat who aren't totally aware of how to handle microaggressions or realize that something so minor as to being cussed at behind a closed door by a teacher is a microaggression in some sort of way. And yes, we always don't lead to racism, but as Black people or mixed race people as well, that's like the first thing that we lead to. Like that's the first thing that comes to our mind. Or at least for me, it's like when I work in a restaurant, so when a person's wearing a American flag bandana, I'm like, oh, they're a Trump supporter. Which they're actually really cool. They're not a Trump supporter. They voted for someone who's not Trump. It was just me thinking that, oh, because we've lived this life for so long, that maybe that person's a Trump supporter and they're going to yell at me and say something racist. So I have to walk around eggshells, which will lead to our next two questions as well. But I want to hear, like, is there a way for people, and if you could, how do you handle microaggressions? That means either dragging them on the internet or not dragging them on the internet. Is there like a professional way to do it? Is there some way you can help people in chat understand how to handle one and what one may look like and how to go about it professionally? Because I'll just drag a bitch on the internet. I don't know if you all saw the beginning of Black History Month when I drug a drag race girl through the mud for bullying me on Twitch. I said, I just asked you to be part of this event, and you could have just said no. You didn't have to go bully me and bring your community to bully me in my chat. Like, that's not okay. You know what I mean? So everybody's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I'm not going to do anything. And I was like, dear Mr. Twitch, this person is a fugly slut. And then I just threw it up in the hallway and let everybody else take it. So who wants to go? Go ahead.
I just like call it out right away now. I think before I would never have that approach, probably because like lack of confidence or something. But now I just call it out, depending on like who's doing it and stuff. Because maybe some people don't understand the microaggression, so I'll explain what they said or how they said it affected me, and if it keeps going on, it'll escalate more. But like things like I hate being called loud when other people are just as loud as me, but because I'm black, I'm loud. I'm that loud bitch, or I'm aggressive. Things like that. I just like call it out immediately and let them know that it's fucked up. And if they do it again, I will escalate from there.
Agreed. I call it out as well. I actually had a recent situation with someone I went to school with. They just went off about some things on black issues, and they're not black. And I respectfully said, hey, okay, I'm not gonna fuck with you anymore. And they proceeded to I guess you can call it eat me up in their comment section on their post. I'm like, baby, this is a public post. So what I simply did was I screenshotted the post because she had it available for only her friends to see. I screenshotted the post and I put it on my profile, and I said nothing rude about her. I did not put any of her business out, but I did make it known. If this is how you feel, most of us on your Facebook friends list went to high school with you. We went to middle school with you. We stood up for you when you were being bullied, and at the end of the day, you're a part of the LGBTQI community as well too. And you talk like this, amongst your fellow people that you went to school with, that supported you, that loved you. So I called it out. I sure did. And I tagged her and I said, okay, now you're being ate up by everybody in my comments. There were at least like 30 comments where everybody sat there and dragged her. I just sat there and watched the comments roll in, and I tagged her and I simply said, okay, well, what do you think now? She said nothing back. And this was just about a week ago. So if I drag people on it, if you don't like the heat, then get the hell out of my kitchen. Get the fuck out of it,
And I know that you're going to be taking 60 on a date soon, so I heard you had some signature wings. So if you don't like it, you're not getting any signature wings. You know what I'm saying?
I'll do today, 60.
Oh, 60, did you hear that? I'm calling 60. 60, I'm calling you. Empire wants to take a shot with you. But what do we just tag? Like, two people have said call it out. So do we tag the person? Do we not tag the person? Like, the first thing I was asked when talking about why didn't you tag, like, people ask me, like, why didn't you tag her? And I was like, because I know she saw it. Like, I'm not, like, I know she's not blind, and other Drag Race girls have tagged her in it. And so, like, I don't need to tag her. And, like, I was trying to be professional, like, it's not a hate crime. Do not go hate that person. But these actions are not okay. So, Flower, Blizzbear, do you also call it out? Do you handle it in a different way? And like, everybody's feelings and points are valid. Like, you don't have to call it out if you don't feel comfortable.
Right. I'm all for calling things out for sure, because I'm very vocal and opinionated. As far as the tagging, I'm not against it. Honestly, I think that it's great, and I feel like it depends on the situation. It depends on what's going on, because at the end of the day, they know the shoe fits, they're gonna wear it, and like you said, people are gonna tag them. Like, word spreads, they're gonna know. So I feel like regardless, like, I'm gonna say what I have to say, and they're gonna hear me whether they get tagged. by a million people other than just me, or if word's just gonna spread and they're just gonna see it that way or hear it that way. So
Yeah.
Um,
Blizzberry.
So for some odd reason in COVID, I had to relearn what it meant to be apologetically me for the longest time. So before, and also coming into like the whole Twitch industry, I was afraid to speak up about things because I was afraid of getting hate. And now I'm sitting here, I'm like, no, I'm going to tag you. I'm going to call you out. If you fucked up, you fucked up, and I'm going to let you know that you did. So yeah, I would say call it out if you see it, especially if it's in your chat or if it's in other people's chats. I mod for a bunch of people. There have been situations where people have said shit and like they don't know. So I call it out and go, hey, this is wrong and here's why, but you shouldn't have to wait for a Black individual to tell you this is wrong. You should try to educate yourself as well. I'm not on this platform to educate you, so please understand that. Like I have had a situation where someone confused privilege with prejudice, and where they are a part of the LGBTQIA plus community, and were saying that they got the same amount of hate as a Black individual because they were gay or a part of or were a pup and wore pup gear outside and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's two different things, because at the end of the day, you can take off these things and people will not know. You can stop holding your partner's hand and people will not know. I can't get rid of my skin color.
Period.
People are still going to judge me based on my skin color. Like, I can hold my degree up and everything. I could take it with me everywhere. People are still going to favor you because you were white at the end of the day. Not me. I can show them everything. I can show them my whole life, the trauma, the journey I've been through. They're still going to favor you at the end of the day. And
sure.
it sucks that I had to educate this person that way by putting my vulnerabilities out there just so they could learn. And I'm like, I hope from this like point on, you take the opportunity to learn a little bit, and continue learning about the Black experience. Take up these resources that, you know, all of us are putting out there constantly. We don't have to do this for you. We really don't. So take it, learn from it, please. It's just it's wild. So yeah, Twitch has been fun. It's been a fun time.
To piggyback off of what you said, I'm so exhausted of educating. Like,
I'm
Google's
tired.
free. Google's free. The books are free. Like, just listen. Be here. If you're not here, then there's no excuse for any questions that you may have. The questions are 50 points. So it's very exhausting. I'm more than happy to do it because I guess I could just contradict myself.
It's not a contradiction. Like, you speak on it. Like, the only thing that I think that I've asked all weekend is to like show up. It's free to show up. We're not asking to get paid. I think everybody who's agreed to this 3-day convention, no matter how many times you've been in it, has agreed to do it because they have something to say, and they either want to have something to say or vibe with other Black community members. So like it's free. It's free to show up and show out. And so I think I posted today. I don't know if anybody saw my Twitter post with the Agatha's always right. When you say you support Black Lives Matter, but you don't show up to any of the things that happened during Black History Month, where all the people are speaking of how they feel. And we see you, and we know, and we wish that you would think about your actions. Because if I hear tomorrow on March 1st, how was your event this weekend? I'm sorry that I couldn't make it. What happened? And my first response, honestly and truthfully, is going to be like, well, you should have fucking been there. Because... or you can go watch the VODs. Like, if you can't be here truthfully, but if you just chose not to be here or to support your friends, your community members, when you say that you're pro Black Lives Matter, like, your fake allyship has been very well seen. But going back on the microaggressions topic, we are going to talk about my favorite subject that I've been waiting to talk about, y'all. We are here on this Black Lives or Black Enough panel. So microaggressions are a thing. Not only in they are just everywhere, but generally in dating. So my queer Black community members, how have you experienced how is your dating? It's, if you don't want to talk about it, it's fine. If there's like sensitive subject, it's great. I will start off by giving an example. Well, one, I'm a very sex positive person. I am going to be going to grad school to be a therapist in marriage, family, and counseling, which just happened recently. So I'll be doing that. But I would love to hear how dating has been for you. I usually get it's usually like the no fats, no femmes, no Asians comment. Like, how has that affected you?
Oh yeah.
I get a lot of people don't want to date me because they don't want to date blacks, and I'm just like, first of all, saying blacks, like I don't want to date blacks, it's like that's just like, that strikes me as like uncomfortable and cringy as itself. So who wants to go first?
I want to eat at this one because when you said that, it just brought something up. See, I haven't been on those social apps in years. But in my early 20s when I was on it, we all know the apps, right? We all know them. But those messages, when they have them in their titles, it eats at me. But not only that, I've dated outside of my race. I date outside of my race. I don't just date, it's not about where you're from and things like that. It's, if I like you, I know I'm going to love you. I'm going to be with you, so I'm definitely into interracial dating. That's always been something for me. But at the end of the day, when you go to these apps, these hookup sites or dating sites, it's even on dating sites. I mean, I'm sure it's on spiritual dating sites too, where people put on their, no fats, no femmes, no blacks, no things like that. I've literally reached out to someone years ago and said, hey, how are you? Just trying to get to know someone. And I literally got told, I'm not interested in talking with you. I don't date black dudes. I'm like, I'm not looking for a date. I just said hello. It's like nowadays you can't say hey to people without thinking that, I have some, ulterior motive or something. But as far as it goes with that, though, me dating personally, I've dated, I've dated black people, I've dated white people. I've dated my high school sweetheart was actually Mexican. So, I've definitely dated, but people, I've gotten dragged in away from certain people about that and some family members. But as far as it goes with the whole thing on the apps and things like that, that's something that's going to be going around for a while until people decide to change it, to be the change for that. So
yeah, another question on top of my questions. I know I ask a lot of questions, but along with what I've already asked you about dating as a black person and how you handle that, if someone dates because they're like, I'm only into black people, is that a fetish? Or is that just a personal preference? And do people take that, like, do you as yourselves take that with positivity? Like, for instance, my ex, who I dated, he's a ginger and he's just a very cute. He's like, I like dating black guys. And I'm like, oh, he's someone wants to date black guys. Yes, I'll take it, So is that like a good thing to rejoice about? Is that a bad thing? Is that like a concerning thing? Like, what do we feel about that as well? So just a question to think about. And if you want to answer, you can. If you don't, but thank you, Eddie, for answering that. And if you want to come back to the second part, you can.
It's funny that you say that because I was gonna talk about that.
Cool. Yeah.
As,
maybe not cool. Sorry.
I have been fetishized about, oh, you do it better. You like it. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if my boyfriend now, he has dated quite a few African American women, but he's also dated white women as well. So that's a trick question. It depends on how they go about it. It depends on how they are about it. If he told me, hey, I prefer black women, that's fine. Stop right there. You don't got to say nothing else. You don't have to say, what I can and can't do for you because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to
Mhm.
hear no. So I feel like the way they approach it
Mm.
is a way, but I other than that, like I don't know. But experiences wise, I'm the same. I've dated Hispanic, white, black women. So and men. So yeah, I don't discriminate, and I've always said that that's one thing about me. It angers me because with the dating sites and stuff, I've always said I'm not going to discriminate on something that you can't change. If you can't change your race, if you can't change your color, or your color, if you can't change your height, like I'm not. Why would I discriminate on something like that if you can't change it? So I don't know. That's just always been my motto. So it's very, very um it's very frustrating to see how small-minded people are and how they're in such a closed box that they even can say things like that. And it's just like it's so exhausting. But I mean, it's exhausting, but it's good in a way because there you go. You weeded out the person. You don't even got to waste your time. You don't got to waste a like or whatever they are anymore. You don't have to. I mean, you just weeded the person out that isn't for you. But yeah, it's disgusting, honestly.
So I can talk about my experiences. So okay, so there was a part of me where I constantly felt like I was never a part of a community. There's a reason I do say that, especially with the Black community being tied so closely to religion and how any bit of queerness you're automatically shunned. But then you come over to the LGBTQIA plus community and you identify as bi, and it's not in the gay or lesbian section. Therefore, there's a lot of erasure there as well. So I walked in not really knowing what I was looking for and who I was, going on to this amazing, wonderful site called Grindr, or app called Grindr. There, I found a lot of people not really. I found a lot of people not interested in dating my skin color or dating like no blacks, fat, femmes, anything like that. And it made me hate my skin color. It made me also go for anyone who did accept that. And I was in a lot of not healthy relationships or not healthy connections or anything like that because this one person accepted me. I have to go with this person because that's the only person who will accept me because everyone else on the site didn't. And a lot of like unsafe predicaments as well, and mentally and emotionally like abusive situations as well. So I'm still like, I'm 24 now. The first time I went on Grindr was 18. First experience with queer individuals, 18, from that app. I'm still learning how to love my skin color, learning to love myself. And it's going to take some time. And if there's anyone in chat who is like, when can I start learning to love my skin color and all that stuff, like it's going to take some time. You're going to have to deal with a lot of damage and understand what it truly means to show self-love to yourself, show appreciation to yourself, be unapologetically you. And this is what I was talking about. Like, it took me, I had to relearn how to be unapologetic again, because just because you fixed it in that moment, you can go backwards in learning to love yourself again. So yeah, dating was hard, but now I'm in a relationship where it's an understanding of, I am Black, these are the struggles that I'm going through, and I'm dating someone who is white. These are the struggles that I'm going through. You're not going to be able to understand my experiences like exactly, but like just listen. That's it.
Yeah.
Just listen.
Yeah.
Listening and learning means so much to me, and seeing me for who I am means so much to me. So like, yeah, if you're Grindr isn't great. That's the bottom line. Grindr isn't great.
Bottom line.
Bottom line.
Definitely, period.
Done, done.
Too long
Yeah.
ago read Grindr isn't great.
Um, definitely feel that. How do you, Dro? You are you are half black, half Latinx. How do you feel about the dating scene?
Yeah, it's like basically kind of the same stories we're all hearing right now, the whole like black femme and stuff like that. Or I do also think that a lot of it is fetishizing. You were talking about that earlier, saying people like I just like dating predominantly black people or Latino people or something. Because like for me, an example, I hate when white men call me papi in any way, shape, or form. Because like I am, first of all, you don't even speak my language at all, and then all of a sudden you call me papi. I figure that's very like what's the word? Derogatory, I guess. I just don't like this kind of things, and that's the kind of things I experience mostly in a dating app. Well, especially Grinder, the great app of Grinder, I should say. But yeah, you meet great people on there.
For yeah, certain ones. I think the biggest thing for me is not only being a black community member, but also a drag queen. Is people don't want to date drag queens. And it doesn't help that I am a person of color, aka black. So like I've definitely felt with a lot of that. So I always am curious of like you said, Blizzberry, like earlier when you were like, I hate my skin my skin color because people have maybe felt this way. It's like, but when someone does come by, you're kind of just like, okay, great. I guess I'm going this way. But it could lead to unsafe situations as well. So I definitely relate a lot on that. This has all made us feel some type of way, and in our experiences in life, haven't been the best. Not feeling like we fit into a community. So my first question is, and you can just throw a number of 1 to 10. How not involved in a community did you feel? Like, one being like, I don't actually have a community, I haven't found one, and there was not. Like, it can be changed now. So like in the last, like when 1 to 10, and then when did you realize that you belonged into the community? And I love the silence because everybody's like, it makes you think, right? Like, when did I realize that I was okay being proud of who I am as a queer or a queer member of the community, a queer member of the black community, and how did that make me feel? Like how like where was I not there? Was I there? I just didn't realize it. Have I always been there? And I've always been proud of it. Like it variates in a difference, and it makes you kind of think. And like this is why I love doing these panels because I'm just like, ooh, gotcha. And maybe my questions don't make sense sometimes because I like ramble a lot, but I'm just like, I think there's a thought here that you're like, oh, because that's the point of this panel is like, you're too black for black people sometimes, but you're not black enough for black people. Sorry, you're too black for white people, but you're not black enough for black people. Yeah. So you don't fit in either of those front yards or backyards or soccer fields, whatever you want to call them.
Story of my life of school, though. That was basically it. I think in school, I felt the lowest of the low about it because, I was learning quotes and things like, phrases like token and all of that, things I didn't know. My mother didn't tell me all of that because we weren't prepared for that. She wasn't prepared for me to come home and say that, I was called a token black guy or I was spat on and, had my face ran against a window in a school bus, for doing absolutely nothing. So, and I didn't have friends starting off. I didn't have friends. When I transferred to the school that I went to for 7th and 8th grade and throughout high school, I started to somewhat build confidence. I actually became the first black drum major in my high school. And that was a challenge in itself because I still, again, didn't hang out with the black, the black community in my school. I found myself hanging and sitting with the foreign exchange students, and they were from everywhere, different places, all over the world. I didn't feel like I had a community to sit with and, of people that look like me or were like me, whether if they were part of the LGBTQIA plus community or, if they were black. I didn't feel that I had that sense of, okay, I belong here. I can hang here, I could be someone's friend here. I could be a motivational speaker one day to some of some of these people in this community, maybe one day. I never felt that way until after I became an adult. When I became an adult, I'm feeling more and more confident by the day. Twitch has really brought out the best. Sorry. Twitch has really brought out the best for me here, because I have met so many amazing people, in the community. Not just Black people, LGBTQIA, just amazing people who share the experiences, if not similar to mine, who's experienced something and they can understand. I'm not asking for people to experience what I've had or to have had an experience before, but to understand. And I could say talk about it all I want, but there's nothing more amazing than a community that I'm now starting to get to meet the people and get to see what their everyday struggles are like. So it's getting better every day. Yeah.
It's powerful. Absolutely. I can relate to you. That's cool that you're in band. I was in orchestra. I played the cello. I listened to Nirvana, Korn, System of a Down growing up. So I was very much an outcast. I didn't know who to hang out with. I went to concerts that were rock concerts. I didn't know. I was so afraid to share the interests that I had with my fellow Black community, because I was afraid of being judged, or, oh, well, you're not Black enough to hang out with us. And so I just stayed to myself. I was so quiet. Like, I feel like, looking back at high school, I feel like I literally, like, I don't know how I survived. I just felt like I lived in like a bubble this whole time. Like, I had my friends, but like I said, I was the shadow of my brother. So everyone was just asking about him. In a way, I'm kind of appreciative of that, because I didn't have to be like, oh yeah, I just went to this rock concert and then just get like stares like, what? Like, you're the exact opposite of your brother. So like, I was thankful that I didn't have to go through the being told. I didn't really get told, oh, well, you're not Black enough to hang out with us, or things in that nature. So just because I was very quiet about it, I just stayed to myself, because I didn't want to hear it, because I don't know how I would have reacted to it. So it was interesting. So I agree. I don't know what you said about the Twitch community. I feel like I'm such at a comfort in my life now than I have ever been. And I'm so grateful and so thankful for that. And so many amazing people that I met have the same experience, or just have lived the same things, and we can discuss it like we are now. And it's very refreshing to know that we're not alone. So
Yeah.
Right there. That right there.
Yeah.
I so relate to you on the music thing. I will constantly sing about my queen Hayley Williams and Paramore until I die. I do not care. But growing up, pop punk and like just rock were my thing constantly, and that was kind of the term that, or the time where people started calling me like an Oreo, because I was interested in this music and interested in interested in so much R&B or anything like that. And then later, like attempting to be like Black alt and everything like that. I, looking back on it, like it's very hurtful, kind of being pushed away from the community and not feeling like I felt involved in the community because of my interest. Paramore is Black, so I mean, yeah. But it also kind of opened my eye to other, like, I want to say other artists who I do appreciate a lot more, and who do challenge the whole, like, what does it mean to be Black alt? For example, Rico Nasty is killing it, takes influences from 80s rock and also R&B at the same time, puts that shit together. Fashion choices of Rico Nasty is amazing. If you Google Rico Nasty right now, you'll see how all her outfits and how she just owns it. That's the visibility that I needed. And I was like, oh, I can, follow that route. Representation 100% matters. And that is a prime example of why it matters. It makes me feel comfortable going down certain like outfit choices or certain music choices, like seeing myself in there makes me want to, also try it. I mean, that's the reason I started Twitch as well, because I wanted to be representation for people. I wanted them to see me and be like, oh wait, I can do this as well. Like that would be, I've had people come up to me saying like, hey, you inspired me to stream like as a Black queer content creator. And I'm like, hell yeah, pull through, let's go. Let's do it. But like, yeah, that was kind of the first time where I felt like I didn't belong because of music choices, and that you just like said, like you started talking about music, and I was like, yes, let's go.
Yes.
I could totally relate with that as well, because I grew up, I was like a heavy metal and metal kid, right? My first concert was a Lamb of God concert, 13 years old, right? And I was in orchestra as well. I played the bassoon girl. Like I fucking love that stuff. And people would always question why was I into the kind of things, because I was not a white person, and that was always such like a weird thing to have to like confront, because just like no, just like the music. But like even growing up now, I agree with what was said, that like I'm coming into myself more and more every day. Definitely Twitch has helped me out so much. The amount of love and acceptance and everything that comes from this platform for my community and stuff is, I did not expect that at all when I started streaming, like at all. And it really, really blows my mind, because I still like I don't fully feel like I fit into anywhere. And like I guess real life, and it's just even in the LGBT community, sometimes I don't feel like I fit in there with my friends sometimes as well. But on this community that I've met here, I really do. I feel like I do fit in. So it's really nice. It's really helped me a lot with my confidence and my self-esteem and my self-love, which I did not think I was gonna get from Twitch of all places.
I think I found all of you on accident. And that's not like a bad thing to say. Like I think I woke up one morning and I was like, I'll go on Twitch and see what's up. And that's how I met Dro. And Dro was like, and like, this isn't something to be like, Dro, like, and like, the reason I appreciate you, Dro, is because like, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but like, I appreciate you because you didn't know who I was.
No.
You're like, oh, thank you, Landon Bradshaw for the follow. And I was like, oh, Brandon. Cool. Yeah, you're like, thank you, Brandon Bradshaw for the follow. I was like, work, this person has no idea who I am, so I'm gonna vibe. But everybody in your chat, like,
they went off.
They're like, London's here, and then Joe was like,
I'm like, who is this bitch?
Yeah. So, but I think when you were talking, I think the time I met you, you were talking about rock concerts, and I was like, I know they're problematic, and he's like a really problematic person, but I love Marilyn Manson. Like that's where I identified, and I don't know if anybody like listens in this moment. It is they're a rock group, but like being a drag queen and being Black, it's like I love rock music. I will perform any type of rock music. Like if you ever see me in drag, my biggest like aesthetic is like bouffant mohawks, like, and like the shaven sides. Like I fucking love Rico Nasty. By the way, I almost passed out when you said Rico Nasty. I was like, like I love like Rico Nasty's so good at what they do. But I get told, I'm like, you're a Black queen, you should be like flipping and dipping and death drops and things like that. I was like, excuse me, bitch, have you heard this? Like Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson, like that's my number one jam to do in drag. It's like I just would love to like get into somebody's face and be like, oh, I'm a cute little drag queen, but I'm really just gonna like pop a blood pack in my mouth and just like bleed blood and scream into your face. Like that is the vibe I want to give. So the fact that you think that I need to be like, you know, like Whitney Houston, like I want to love somebody, like I'm not gonna do that, like, you know, waving that white towel around. Like, God rest in peace, Whitney, like I love you, but like that's not me. Like I've always like, it's just not me. So I feel like I started feeling in this community, to be honest with you, is last year when personally in my drag career as a Black person, is when they were like, and all my white friends were like, hey, I would love that gig, but we are in a Black Lives Matter movement, so I think that maybe we should just pass this on to the list of Black performers that I have. And I'm like, you just now realized that I existed in this community? Like, thank you. So that's where like, and if it wasn't for Twitch, I wouldn't have realized like maybe I can find other people like me. And there are Black people in Seattle, you know, like, but like we also go through the same thing of like we are like too shy to talk to each other because we also have not had people in our community reach out to other people in our community, the Black community. So it's like we don't communicate with each other. So we're just like, hey, it's good to see you, you know? Or like, hey, did this white person give you this gig? Because they gave me this gig, but if you want to do it with me. So things like that. But so I definitely feel on the scale of 1 to 10, it's been a 0 up until last year, which is unfortunate because it's 2020 and it took someone smashing a cop car and setting it on fire to realize, oh, there are more voices in the Black community than we think that they are. So maybe we should listen, which is also unfortunate because I called the flower and Blizzard said, like, we're tired. Like, just let us leave, let us live our lives, things like that. So with the experiences that you've gained, how do we, and Blizzbear, I feel like you're gonna either light up and be the first to jump on this, but we have experiences, different parts of the community and how they treat us. And that has caused it's caused like certain traumas or triggering moments, which causes like depression or anxiety or things like that. So how do we in this group self-care? Self-care is important. I only say this because I know Blizzbear talks about self-care in your chat a lot, and how important it is. I personally do mental health check-ins on Tuesdays. So what do we do when situations like these occur? How do we mentally center? I don't know if mentally centering is the word I want to do. How do we center ourselves, and how do we bring back the serotonin and the positivity into our lives after things like this have happened? When we get these thoughts of like these thoughts in our head, or I wouldn't say self-sabotaging because that's not the case, because we've had people microaggress us and things like that. So when those situations happen, how do you self-care, or what do you do to like, hey, I just need a day, or hey, I'm going to put my phone down, or hey, we're just not going to talk about this for a second? Like, do you reach out to people? Do you take a bath? Do you, for those sex positive people, do you like London Bradshaw time? You know what I'm saying? Like anything goes. Like, how do you self-care? How do you take care of yourselves? And like, what is something that you could, how do you, we'll just go with that for now. How do you self-care?
I can go. First and foremost, be okay with taking breaks and understand that taking breaks are necessary for you to grow and also heal from situations happening. And also, since we are all on Twitch, understand that you do not have to be everywhere. You can take time to yourself. You do not have to open up this purple app and be everywhere, have to network, be this place. No, take a break. Take care of yourself. Second, be careful doing this, but adopt main character mentality. And the reason I say that is because, let's say, for example, you do have a troll come into your chat. Most of the time, trolls don't really deal with, or trolls don't really get into my head, because I'm more of that in that main character mentality of like, I'm living in your head rent free right now. You came in here having to say something because you saw me, you saw the identities I possess, and you were like, I gotta do something about it. Why are you so mad? Like, come on. But what I like to do personally for my self-care is I have certain days where I do nothing and I just exist and I breathe. I talk about it all the time. Just exist. Just breathe. Maybe do a like mask, like a face mask or something. Go into the mirror, say something positive to yourself. Tuck yourself in at night. Say something nice to yourself at night and be like, hey, Blaze, I hope you have a great tomorrow. Have the sweetest of dreams, my friend. I shall see you in the morning. Stop self-deprecating. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop self-deprecating when complimenting others. For example, I got called out on a stream last week for doing this, which is wild. But, you know, for example, being like, oh my God, you have so much more talent than me. Like no, we both have talent. We both have really good talent. Like we should, you know, both celebrate both of our talents together. It's not that you have more talent than me or I have more talent. No, we both have amazing talents. We have different things. We are complex human beings. We should both celebrate that. So it's just talking kind to yourself, taking time for yourself, just existing for yourself, and then have that main character bad bitch energy when you can. You know, you are that bitch. You've been that bitch. You will always be that bitch. So, you know, live it. Live that.
Period. And I think I walked into one of your self-healing like positivity chats. Or I think you're playing Dead by Daylight. I don't want to relive the reason. I don't want to relive the moment I met you because you called me out in chat.
I called you out because you lied. Literally people in my chat knew you and they were like, yeah, you play Dead by Daylight. And then you were like, I know I don't play Dead by Daylight. And I was like, okay, let me pull it. I researched. Biochemist. I was like, okay, so you just lied. You just lied to me. I haven't lied. I don't know how to feel about this. But I loved it. It was great. Like, I'm gonna remember you for that. I'm always gonna remember you for that. But
I was like, and Blizzbear has never talked to me since. Just not true. Blizzbear isn't in my chat. No, I feel like, and the only reason answering this before we move on with the question is like, it's not about me. Like, I'm in someone's chat, and like, we'll talk about this later when it's my turn to talk about mental health, but like people know who Lennon Bradshaw is and it's not a secret. Like people turn heads in chat. And so like I just want to go in there. I had been following you on Twitch or Twitter, and I was like, this person's just so positive. And then I finally found your Twitch, and then I was like, I'm just gonna go follow. And people were like, London's here, and I was like, yo, I just wanted to vibe and like and you're like, oh, you play Dead by Daylight, and I was like, I don't play Dead by Daylight. This is not about me. We'll talk about this later. And you're like, really? Because I have your stream up right now, and I was like, oh my god, I researched the fuck out of me. Joe did the same thing. I just like want to vibe, so that's why I lied, and I usually don't lie, but I was like, it's not me that we're here to talk about. Yeah. It's me wanting to make friends with other Black streamers, and you had just been so positive on your Twitter. So now that we're talking in person for the first time, but yeah, anybody else want to talk about how they self-care when they're healing from experiences that may have occurred in the day, the time, over the years?
Even outside of streaming and things like that, I work for my role at my job is that basically I'm getting yelled at on a daily. I'm getting screamed at. I've been called names in the past, things like that. I need to self-care after. So how I used to do it, and I still do this, because I bathe every day, but I would go with, take a nice hot shower. And I'm not one of those 10-15 minute shower type of bitches. I like to go in there for a whole hour and just sit underneath the water. That was always my moment to process and just kind of wash off everything that happened throughout that day within those last 24 hours. Now, something that I've learned being, getting to know so many great people of the community, I get to go into their streams. I get to talk. Hey, how are you? Always nice people, just really, really kind, nice. They will lift you up, even if they don't know that you're having a bad day or that you've gone through something, or that you're going through something. Just to hear people just say really nice things sometimes, that's really all the self-care I need at times, just to have somebody else, say positive things and, just be in a positive mindset. It works for me, and it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm gonna have Flower go next because I'll make Joe go last, and there's a reason why I want Joe to go last.
All right. So me personally, my phone stays on Do Not Disturb. I'm not gonna lie to you. So if I don't ever answer, like, sorry, not sorry. My phone stays on Do Not Disturb.
Main character.
No, literally. Like, I work at a hospital in the surgery department, so it's extremely hectic. It's nasty. It's a hot mess, but it's stressful doing that. It's stressful streaming at times. That's one thing that I try to encourage people when they are like, oh, I want to start streaming for the first time. I'm like, listen, like, it's not all rainbows and flowers. Like, you will have days where you don't want to get out of bed because you don't want to stream, or you feel obligated to stream because you feel bad because it's a day that you're supposed to, like, it's a lot more than just being here and smiling. So for me personally, my brother, we are 6, I know I keep talking about him, but I love him so much. We are 6 years apart. And he's always been like a father figure to me. So I like to call him, and we are very close, and we talk a lot about mental health and things going on in each other's lives. So I talk to him a lot, and now my boyfriend. And most of the time, I agree with the shower. Listen, a hot shower with some like peppermint oil and just like music. I'm a sucker for music. Like I'm listening to music 25/8 like all the time. Like you won't catch me not listening to music. So that, and then I like sleeping. I'm not even gonna lie. Like not even on like I'm sad, but I just like sleeping.
Yeah.
So naps are like my best friend.
Yeah. Dro, how do you self-care? And then yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm still learning that as well, right? Because different things will help me during different situations. Sometimes I go take a shower, put on really sad music, and cry for 30 minutes. Or sometimes I'll call Lennon Bradshaw at 2 a.m. and talk for like an hour about nothing just because I need to talk to somebody positive for a little bit, right? Different things really helps me during different situations because like life is so problematic at times, right? Streaming is a thing. My mom has stage 4 cancer. That's something else I've been dealing with for the past year. It's a lot of things that like life throws at you sometimes. So I'm still learning how to really give myself self-care. But I feel like I'm getting better and better as time goes on.
Yeah. And like that's like a reason like I want this panel to happen in the first place was because like Dro, there was like I like I also like pointing out moments in our experiences where we've all met, and sometimes yes, Blizz Bear, I'm so sorry that I lied to you. But we are like Dro texted me one morning and I was working, and Dro texted me and was like fucking pissed. A troll just came into his chat and said the N-word, and the first thing like that's like a self-care moment is like, let me text my friend. Like I just want like, and that's where I relate and come in is like, it's okay to talk to your friends and like reach out to those people because you can't do everything by yourself. And this is not like a scolding Dro or anything, but like Dro trusted me enough to be like, yo, this person came into my chat and called me the N-word, and I said, I'm really sorry, what could I do? And he literally responded with, there's nothing, I just want someone who also relates to me. Because you can't go to your non-black streamer friends and be like, this person called me the N-word, because they're going to be like, I'm going to fight somebody. And instead it's like, what can I do to help you, or how are you feeling? Like, what do you want to talk about? You're just like, nothing, I just want to talk. And I'm like, period. That's fine. And some of those things, like, that's what I'm learning for self-care is reach out to the people that can relate to you. And maybe they not like a big health thing is like mental health thing is they might not always be in the mindset to have those conversations, or it might not be the perfect time. But just know, like, make yourself available if you're willing to. Also, find those people that you can reach out to, because I've been struggling a lot with being successful on Twitch as an artist, and so it's very I try to find ways. I'm still learning how to self-care as well, because not everybody is going to. I just want to be excited about the successes that I have without having to offend somebody or piss somebody off, and I want to just go places where people don't be like, that's London's here. Like, look at this bitch. She's iconic, blah, blah, blah. Like, the things that are said in chat, that's not me just, like, hyping myself up. But sometimes, apparently, BlizzBear, you need to hype yourself up, and that's okay. But my struggle is I just want to learn how to self-care, and that's why I asked this question, is because I have nobody to talk to, which I do. I know that. But, like, you don't want to keep explaining the same thing that you're struggling with because not everybody understands it. So I asked this question because I wanted to learn from you all as well. So, and maybe people in chat do as well. But I definitely try to do hot showers. I am a drag artist, and my shower is big enough to do a full drag show in there. So it's hard to just stand in the shower when I'm like, yes, yes. It's like
100%.
Yeah, right.
100%.
Go ahead, Eddie.
No, I also wanted to touch on something that you said too, because the whole self-care thing is awesome, getting to have that time with the content creators and talk to other people and get put in a positive headspace. But another thing that brings me back, just as back to good spirits, I'm happy again, things like that, is actually calling my best friend. My best friend, she and I, through everything I went through in school, everything, and she's white. She lives 2 blocks, maybe 3 blocks away from me. We have moved to a different state together. We've moved back, and we're about to hit our 20th year of best friendship. Well, she literally says, "Hey," because I will call her like, "This is what happened to me. I was called this, or somebody said something to me, or this is what I'm going through." She says, "I can't say that I understand what you're going through, but what can I do to help? What is it that I can do to make this better for you?" And she knows that in cases like that, there's really nothing that you can do. But just being there and saying, "What can I do?" That really just makes all the difference right there. When someone will just say, "What is it? What can I do? What can I say? What do you want me to hold you or something?" It just means all the difference. And that's what I get from my best friend. So, Mandy, I love you. If you're watching.
Yeah, because to add to that, sometimes there's nothing anyone can do for a situation, right? But I just need to have someone hear what I'm going through and just to listen, I guess. Because there's some situations, there's nothing people can do for you. So you just have to go through it.
I sometimes say like, "Thank you so much for being an open resource," because I need that, and I know that I can come to you with future like things of just, can you listen to me? Like, I just want to be heard.
Yeah. I definitely want to reach out to people and let them know that I'm an open resource, which I am, but I am a terrible texter. So like if I don't want to I am the worst texter. What, like the night that Joe called me at 2 a.m, it was like 7 text messages before that. And I was like, I'm so sorry, like I've just been having like a day, and like, that's okay. And then I called them and like, it's like 3 a.m. and I was like, but we have to talk. Like, and like, okay, we have to talk. So yeah, that's a good way to handle self-care. And if anybody ever has any questions for these people, you can reach out to them. We have about 15 minutes left, so I'm gonna ask one question, and then I have 2 questions left for everybody, and then we can end this panel. So in the Black Enough section of the Discord, where we have been communicating before this panel, I just posted a question from Chloe May. If you want to read it, and I will read it out loud so everybody knows, but I just want to make sure you have it so you understand what the question is. If you want to answer that is a question that y'all can choose to answer, and if you don't, it's totally okay. But the question is, I'm interested in what everyone's opinion of the phrase "talking black." I've heard my BF, who is a black man, parents are from Trinidad and Tobago. Maybe I'm not saying that right. Talk about because he was told he talks white. What that he was treated differently among the other POCs in his community, which is a question that I wanted to ask, but we kind of touched on it. Does anybody want to answer the question? It's kind of like when we have to speak a certain way to survive, I feel like, and I know you all probably maybe feel the same thing. Does anybody want to get those where I see you're like, oh hell yeah, like, I want to take this on? Yeah,
because like it kind of comes out in my customer service voice. People have said that I talk white, or wow, you speak so well. I worked at Cracker Barrel for 3 years. That's my trauma, if y'all know.
Cracker Barrel,
yeah, answering phones. I worked in the retail section. But I've had people come into my chat saying, "Wow, you speak well," or like, "You articulate so well," and other stuff like that. And it's kind of, I don't know, it kind of throws me off because I wouldn't expect to get those types of comments in my chat here and there, and I don't think they realize that that can be a microaggression. And then also with like, there are some moments. There's a lot of people, a lot of individuals in on social media who use AAE or AAVE for comedy and have gained a lot of hype for using AAVE in comedy, and most likely white individuals. I mean, you probably see it in the drag community.
Yeah. Can we get AAV in chat too? I know that people know what that means. Can we get an AAV example in chat as well so people know what that means? Sorry about that, Blizzard. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. So then when I'm like, I mean, I can't help the way I speak. So when I am like using slang or, code switching, because I code switch a lot, it's never from a comedy thing, but people are seeing it from a comedy thing when I'm just like, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just trying to, communicate. So it's I don't know, it's a little disheartening, I think is the best way of putting it. So anytime I hear someone saying you talk black or you talk white, it's just disheartening. And it provides this example of like trying to force lack of unity in the Black community. I think that's where I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I personally have this thing where I categorize myself in two different ways. It's personal and business. Talking Black or talking white has nothing to do with it. Like when I'm streaming, most of you have seen my stream. And just face it, I'm country as all get out. I have a thick accent. I've lived in Alabama most of my life, so it's just this thing where when I'm with my friends or I'm on stream or things like that, I get loud and things like that. But how I talk is never different. When I'm working and I'm talking to people, I still talk the same. It is nothing to do with my skin color. I just have a really thick accent. A lot of my customers who they ask me, because I work for one of the biggest wireless carriers in the United States, and my customers have literally asked me, "Where are you from?" You know, I'm like, "Oh, I live in Alabama." It was like, "Oh, okay, I hear it," you know. But as far as it goes with the whole "you talk white" or "you talk Black" thing, in my personal opinion about it, that's got to stop. That has got to stop.
Yeah,
like where you're from has nothing to do with how you talk. I guess we use slang. We come on now. Slang is now found in the dictionary. You know, it is what it is. But at the same time, this whole, you know, you talk Black or you talk white, people hear it over the phone and they automatically assume that you're a specific race. That shit's got to stop. It really has to. You know, same thing goes for voices too, like for singing voices and things like that. People automatically assume that, you know, somebody can do a certain riff or run, all of a sudden you're an R&B singer, which obviously labels you as Black. You know, we watch it on TV when they turn around and they see someone that they didn't expect, and then, oh, they're white, or oh, they're Black. You know, we got to break that. We've got to break that.
I agree. To piggyback off of what you both said, I feel like not only is it a microaggression, but I also feel like it's a backhanded compliment, because I'm gonna dig deep. I'm gonna just say it. I feel like when people say, "Oh, you speak so well," it's as if they feel like, "Oh, you're educated," and it's like, don't do that, like, cause like it's so frustrating, because it's like, so were you expecting me to not to speak how do I want to put this? Were you expecting, like, what were you expecting with saying what you just said? Like, I kind of want to start reversing the question and be like, so what did you think I was going to say? Because then they need to realize that that's not something that you, one, need to say, and two, like, I want to know what they would say. Like, what were you expecting me to sound like? Because I don't know, but I have been told that I definitely do have a customer service voice, but it's like you said, it needs to stop. I don't know where I don't have anything else to say.
Don't call it hood term. That's what some people call it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what we're all thinking, that's what people call it. You know, oh, that's hood talk. You talk like you're from the hood. That's what that is. That's got to stop.
Yeah. Joe, you worked in the food industry and you've obviously left your job because you hate working in the food industry, but did people ever say that, anything of that sort to you?
Oh yeah, you hear like my whole life almost, the way you talk, or like people are surprised. Well, first of all, I speak two languages and neither of them very well. So let's get that straight. Cannot speak English or Portuguese very well at all. But people do say comments like, "Oh, I'm so surprised that you talk this way," or like the cauliflower said, "You sound educated," which is exactly what they're saying, because they just assume that we won't be educated. And yeah, I don't know what else to add to this. It's already been said. It needs to stop. Period. It needs to stop.
Yeah. There's nothing to piggyback off. Everybody has said what it just needs to fucking stop. I think that we've all gone to college or are going to college, and you'd be surprised the amount of shit that we know, but people haven't taken the time to listen to. So please understand that these people have come here to let us know that shit needs to stop. Anybody here at this convention these last few days they said it stop, please stop. We have time for our last question. Where can we find you? What are we doing on Twitch? And what is some advice that you could get to someone who feels maybe relate to the shoes that you have walked in the terms of, hey, we feel this way about being involved in a community that we aren't very involved in. So what is something that you could tell either your younger self or someone who might relate to these experiences? And then your socials and where we can find you. Anybody can go first. If you need a second to, I was like, if you need a second to like think of that advice you would give to somebody, make sure you do reparations in chat because this advice is free but should not be free because we're tired.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitch at Empire TV. That's Empire with a Y. You can find me on Twitter as it's ITZ Empire with a Y again, and I'm Ask Mr. Eddie with a Y on Instagram. Right now, I'm still just doing my thing on Twitch. I'm generally a Dead by Daylight streamer, but I've also added retro into the mix. My advice to anybody who's ever walked these shoes before, have gone through this, or is currently going through this right now, take it one day at a time. Don't think that you won't go through a day where you're just like, oh my gosh, fuck this. Don't think that you won't, because we've all thought that we wouldn't, and look at where we've been. Look at where we've walked. From what we've been speaking about our journey, you're going to have a journey as well too that you can pass down to your children or to your friends and family. Take note of everything that's going on in your life right now, because when someone like you or just like you at that age grows up, they can pass that down. So one thing at a time, love yourself, and that's all I've got.
I can go next. My name's Blizzbear with a 3 instead of an E on all social media: Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. I would tell myself to give myself a chance to breathe and exist for a bit. There's no need to be in a rush for anything. You're not missing out on anything. This is going to be your entire life of you learning. So breathe, take a second. And then if there's anyone in chat who relates to any of the shit that we've said, like, let's be homies. Shit, what's up? Let's come through. We'll talk about our trauma. Talk about like our journeys and stuff. Let's be homies. I'm down. And I think that's it. That's all. Thank you so much for having me or having us in here. This is important conversations that we needed to have, and I've had some revelations and shit.
I can go next. So I'm Senior Drill on all platforms.
All right, and that's all the time we have.
Oh my god. I gotta go.
That is
dirty. I gotta go. But like, I'm Senior Drill on all platforms, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, everything. My advice, I guess, for my younger self is like, be unapologetically you all the time. Stop trying to change yourself for people who do not give a shit about you, because you need to do things for you and not for other people. And if exactly like Elizabeth said, if anyone in chat relates or needs to reach out or talk, I am available all the time. So come hang.
Yeah, and Call the Flower.
All right, I'm Call the Flower, like cauliflower. Eat your vegetables. You can find me on TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter under the same name. What I would tell my younger self is that be patient. It does get better. You will find your people, your group, your community. And just be patient, and you'll get feistier. So yeah, and like I said, like everyone else has said, you can vibe with me.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. I just want to say thank you to everybody who is like literally. Black History Month is probably one of the busiest months for the Black community, because no matter where you're at in life, everybody has voices that need to be heard. So they are being pulled every which direction. I'm very excited that we've also not only had just Black members of the community, we've had Afro-Latino members of the community as well join us this whole convention, from Brazil, from anywhere. So thank you for that. But specifically, thank you to you for being here and taking the time to speak with me today. This panel is important to me because more people that you believe feel this way. So I'm glad that we can all relate in some form or way of others. But that is all the time we have. Again, I am in London. I am pushing to be one of the first Black drag artists here as a partner on Twitch. So please support all these amazing members. Support myself. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. I'm about to delete my Facebook, so please stop adding me on there because I don't use that shit. It's fucking homophobic and racist, if I'm being honest. But I am really trying to make a space for BIPOC individuals and people of color. So please come vibe with us because there are more people out here than you can think of that want to vibe with you as well. But that is all the time we have. We are ending our stream. So everybody in this chat, say goodbye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.